Hi guys, how's it going? This is Dawn from CFG, and I am here today at the Mesa Convention Center with the lovely Riddle. She is notably in the show Heroes of Cosplay from the Sci-Fi Channel, and she has done a ton of work ever since. And today I'm going to interview her and ask her a couple of questions. So today I'm more or less asking questions about cosplay and then just asking random questions just to make it a little bit interesting.
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Do you think there's a point to which somebody is too old to cosplay?
No, never. You just keep cosplaying until you're like, I can't do it anymore. And I mean, that's why I've got costumes I have planned for when I'm like 50. Like the grandmother from Ranma and, Sophie when she's old. And no, I think you can be as young as you want or as old as you want, as long as you're not hurting yourself.
All right, that's good. At least with cosplay, a lot of people are so much dedicated to it right now that they're in it for basically their whole life.
Yes. It is like a life choice.
Exactly. And on that note, at least for you right now, maybe it'll change as you get older. Which one do you think is more challenging, sewing or making props?
Oh my gosh, they both are equally challenging. I really struggle with doing patternings for sewing, but props, it can be an expensive mistake. Like if you mess up your mold or something, it can be really expensive. So for me, I think sewing is actually what I struggle most with because I do have a bit more experience in the prop making department. So this year I've really tried to focus on challenging myself, and probably even more next year on doing more elaborate sewing outfits. But I just pick the characters I like, and if they're sewing, I gotta figure it out. So.
All right, and on that note, do you have any cosplay armor projects in your future?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. My dream costume is from an anime called Bubblegum Crisis. It's a Prissa's Hardsuit. That's been like my dream since like the second year I started cosplaying. I really want to do. There's an anime called Strike Witches with the airplane legs. Right. All the costumes that I'm sort of like thinking about all have like sort of armor elements to them. I want to do like a monk from Diablo 3, and I want to do a Legend of Zelda character because I'm such a huge Legend of Zelda fan, so I can't decide between Link or Zelda. So it's like I find every costume you utilize prop making in some way, because sometimes you have to make a gem or like a facet or you can have a sculpted piece, and then you have to have fabric. So there's every costume seems to involve both of them. It's just to what degree.
All right, let's see. Here, I'm losing my questions here. Not too many. As far as cosplay goes, they're fairly easy. Well, here's one really good one. Okay. If you could actually be one of your cosplays, who would it be and why?
Oh, totally. Probably Snow White, just so I could talk to animals. And then they could clean my laundry and clean my dishes and clean the house.
Oh yeah, and the dwarfs also.
I could get rid of those guys.
You don't need them?
No, I think I'd be on the Prince Charming level, but she still can talk to animals, so.
She could. And on average, as far as up to this point, how much does a cosplay cost you?
It really depends on the costume. I mean, I kind of I try to keep a budget, and then I go like way off of it. So, I mean, I know how much pieces cost. Like for instance, the gold-plated wasp armor on my banner here. I had to pay to have it chromed because spray-on chrome didn't really have the same effect, and that was $450 to just have it chromed. And I made it, I sculpted it, molded it, and casted it, and there's probably like 20 hours worth of sanding alone just on those pieces. So. I mean, you save a lot of money by making it yourself, but, my Zatanna top hat, I wanted a real collapsible top hat, and there's only, at the time, 2 people in the world who made them, and it was like $350. But it's accessories that kill you, especially if you're trying to do like a movie-accurate costume, because you have to find that item, and then I'm sure people are hoarding it because they're like, it looks like it's in the movie, and I know people will want it, so I'm going to charge a lot of money. And so, yeah, I know people have spent like hundreds and hundreds of dollars just on one like buckle or one,
They pay a lot for movie replicas.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like you said, it's like people get fanatical. Cosplayers, it's like a lifestyle. It's like a life commitment, and you're like, I'm dedicated to making this costume. I want to make it as perfect as possible. So I mean, you can do it cheap. I go to Goodwill a lot. I use a lot of leathers from Goodwill. I use coupons from Joann's. I try to cut up like old things, but wigs are always going to cost you a lot of money. Shoes are probably going to cost you a lot of money, and accessories are going to cost you a lot. So it's just just save up for it and just pick a character you really love because you'll be spending money on it. So
Yeah, absolutely. Money's probably the biggest thing.
yeah, that's.
So what would be your biggest advice for anyone who's willing to be serious in the cosplay industry?
Well, I don't really consider it an industry. I mean, to me, it is still a hobby. It's just I treat it like a job. But I would say if you're interested in maybe pursuing a career in some aspect of cosplay, either having your own commission site or being able to work on movies or just excelling yourself at costuming, I would really focus on your craftsmanship. Just don't rush it. Take your time. Try to produce the best quality that you can produce, and just keep challenging yourself. Use new materials. Try to keep up to date on what Just try to keep up to date on new materials, which is really hard. Like 3D printing is a huge thing right now, and that's something I really do want to get into because I think it'll help in the end speed up the costuming process or create a better item. So just patience. Focus on your craftsmanship. Use the Google. Because I'm sure someone else has tried or asked
to Google everything.
You can pretty much Google everything. When I started, there wasn't YouTube. You're just like, I don't know what I'm doing. But now it's like everyone's so helpful. And I think that's why costumes have really gone up in quality in the last couple of years, is because everyone's sharing resources and information that someone's like, oh, that's how they did that? Okay, well now I'm going to build on top of that. And they do an even better job. And then that person builds and they do an even better job. So.
Yeah, and it also depends on the level of where you are at cosplay, and I guess finding your voice.
Yeah, but the thing is, I've seen people who are starting out costuming in their first year costumes, and they're producing stuff that's better than the first 7 years that I started. And it's really just like, sometimes someone's like, I just love this character so much, I want to do a perfect job on it, and they spend a whole year on it. And there's some people who are like, oh, I got a con in a week, and I just want to dress up, and I'm just going to do closet cosplay. And they go out and they have fun too. So there's different aspects of cosplay, but if you really want to sort of, for me, I think what set me apart was just I really wanted to make the characters my own. I translated them into something that could exist in the real world. I took my time. I created a product, basically a costume that I was proud of. And if I wasn't proud of it, I kept working on it till I was.
Yeah, and patience pays off when you're working on cosplays too.
And it's hard because you're excited and you want to get it done, and you're like, man, I've already spent like 80 hours on this costume. I don't want to do it anymore. And it can be kind of a lonely hobby if you're doing it by yourself, or if you're with friends, you're just like, it can be fun, but it also can be stressful. Yeah, and just very distracting.
Yeah, I mean, you can derp around too and just watch. You can use the time to catch up on anime too.
Seriously.
All right, now for some of the random questions. How much time would you say you dedicate to playing video games?
Recently, not as much as I used to, but yeah, not enough. But I would say, because I have my DS now, so I know I'm trying to finish up Bravely Default, and there's like 80 hours on that. Yeah. I was just mad that they made you play it over 4 times at the end.
Yeah.
I thought that was cheap. I used to play World of Warcraft, and that was like forever. I would probably say, and I'm reading a lot of manga now, like I'm reading JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. So that's taking up my before bed gaming time. So I would probably say about 10, 20 hours a week.
All right, that's actually not too bad. Let's see. One more question, or maybe two if we have time.
I'll be short.
Yeah. What's one guilty pleasure that you like to watch on television?
Oh, Once Upon a Time, because people say it sucks and I love it. I also love food reality shows, like competition food shows. Yeah, like Cutthroat Kitchen or Hell's Kitchen or Top Chef or Master Chef.
Yeah.
I love cooking shows that aren't even about cooking.
Right.
Well, I said that one.
Yeah. Well, for our last question, since you mentioned cooking, if you were to make a dish that displays the essence of Canada in one plate, and if you were to show that to, let's say, the average American, what would you make?
Oh, well, I'd have to create our national dish, poutine. So it's French fries, cheese curds, and gravy. It's amazing. And I throw a little bit of lobster in it because I've had that before. It tastes pretty good. So yeah, I think poutine is the essence of Canada. It is a melting pot of awesomeness. So. All
right.
Yeah.
Sounds good, but it could also be very bad for you.
Yeah, you'll probably have a heart attack after you eat it.
All right. Well, there you have it, you guys. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you again later.
She's so cute. I love this game.
Well, thank you.